All right, guys, so Aion 2 has been out for almost a full week now, and I thought I would take the time to share my early thoughts and impressions. A lot of you guys have been asking, what is my gameplay experience with this so far? Well, I am somewhere between 50 to 100-ish hours. I've hit max level on 2 characters now, one in Taiwan on the Elios side, and one on the Asmodean side on Korea. I've had to move from Taiwan to the Korean servers because the Taiwan servers were too unstable. We could barely play. So things have been smooth sailing on the KR servers, and we're having a pretty good time. What are my thoughts on the game? Well, let's get right into this. Oh, before we do, though, don't forget to like and subscribe if you appreciate the content. Comment down below. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. And also, follow me on Twitch. That is my main platform. I'm streaming every single day. Okay, so what are my thoughts with the game? I'm really enjoying the game. That might be a little bit of a hot take, but I'm sorry if that offends you. I am. I'm having a good time. I think the game is solid. I think the game is good for a Korean MMORPG, and we've been full sending it. I'm low-key addicted to the game. However, there are definitely some issues, monetization, all that stuff, and we're going to get into some of these details right now. So a lot of you guys have probably heard other content creators, shitting on the game, glazing the game, whatever. There have been a lot of streamers that have come out, or YouTubers that have come out, said the game either feels like a mobile game, or it's mid, or it's okay, or it's lackluster. And from my perspective, it's pretty obvious. People that generally are into Western MMORPGs like World of Warcraft, RuneScape, these kind of gamers, these type of MMO gamers, they're not gonna you're probably not going to like Aion 2, right? Aion 2 is a Korean MMO. If you're into Korean MMOs like Throne and Liberty, Lost Ark, these types of games, there's a really good chance you might like this game, Aion 2. And as someone who has an audience that's pretty widespread because I cover a lot of different MMOs, that seems to be the case. My chat is pretty mixed. A lot of people are enjoying it. A lot of people say it looks like a mobile game. A lot of people saying it looks bad. In regards to the mobile game first, personally, I disagree with the notion that this is a mobile game. The UI UX, definitely mobile, bad. NCSoft has even acknowledged it. They've also acknowledged that they have been working on a PC exclusive UI. They mention this every single dev stream, and Koreans are also pushing them on this, so I'm inclined to believe that the PC UI will come out. So that's pretty good. I really think that the UI UX is the reason why a lot of people are calling this a mobile game. If you were to strip away the UI UX, I just don't see it. There is a subtle mobile flair to it, but it's just not a mobile MMORPG. And if I were to elaborate on this a little bit, number one, you play Odin Valhalla, you play Raven 2, you play RF Online 2, the mobile version, right? You play these games, Legend of Ymir, the new Architect game. These games are mobile MMORPGs. I've played a lot of these games, and I've pumped some hours into them because we cover all MMOs here. If you play those games and you pump enough hours into those games, it will be very apparent how consistent they are to one another. Aion 2 is nothing like that. Aion 2, gameplay-wise, again, strip away the UI UX, is way more comparable to a classic Korean MMORPG. The more I play this game, the more I'm reminded of Aion 1, surprise, surprise, and Terra. Very comparable to Terra, especially the combat. I think some of this mobile stuff, or maybe not the mobile, but I guess more the gameplay being mid or not very good, I really do feel like that is being echoed more so from the people that are into Western MMORPGs. Like, I would not imagine someone that likes Star Wars to like this game or think this game is great, or World of Warcraft, a classic World of Warcraft, Andy. I don't expect him to play this game and be like, yeah, the gameplay is really good. But I would expect someone from Throne and Liberty to play this game and be like, yo, this is really good. Obviously, this is not an absolute statement. There are people from WoW that will like this, and there are people from Throne that will not like this. But this is a mint chocolate chip, right? It's a flavor of ice cream. And for a Korean MMORPG, I do think they delivered a pretty solid game. Gameplay-wise, at least within the first 50 to 100 hours. Who knows what the end game loop is like. The Koreans, by the way, think that this game, for the most part, is pretty good. As far as I can tell, all the streamers that I've talked to, all the Korean friends that I've talked to, everyone says that the gameplay is pretty good. By the way, Korean gamers generally enjoy playing Korean MMORPGs, right? Games like World of Warcraft, certainly games like RuneScape are not as popular in Korea as they are in the West. Now, before you get your pitchforks out and say, no, World of Warcraft is popular in Korea, of course it is. It's popular everywhere around the world, or everywhere around the world, excuse me. But it's not as popular in Korea as it is in the West, is pretty much what I'm saying, right? So the majority of the Koreans are pretty much saying that the gameplay is good, and they have reservations in other areas, primarily with things like the monetization right now, obviously the login servers, and also the UI. I want to double down on the issue with the UI. The UI UX is just absolutely terrible. It is really, really bad. To give you an example, look at this. Like, I can't. It's one of those things where I have to click. This is my remote storage here. If I want to move this over, I can't right click. I have to click and it goes into the center menu, and then I click how many I want to put in, and then I hit store for it to go, and it went to the storage here. You just can't see. It's behind my camera. This is just terrible. This right here is absolutely mobile. Absolutely mobile. The gameplay, not so mobile. This shit, super mobile. This has to go. Like I said, they are working on the UI though. Hopefully that comes in sooner than later. Now, I want to move on and talk to you guys about just the general gameplay and what this game is. This game is a traditional theme park game, but where this game kind of stands out for me, or to me, is that it has essentially implemented what we generally see as horizontal content, and they've applied that directly to the vertical progression, right? So if you've played Lost Ark, you have something called Makoko seeds. Horizontal content, they're just seeds that are scattered around the world, and you collect them, and you try to collect them all. They don't really give you anything, you know, some titles and stuff like that. Guild Wars 2, you have map completion to finish everything. Guild Wars 2, completing that, you get titles, but you also work towards legendary items by doing that. In this game, they have a lot of that type of content. Only in Aion 2, that content is directly tied to your character's overall power. Your character is not just defined by this gear in Aion 2, it's also defined by a lot of other things. For example, there's a pet system here. This pet system allows you to essentially collect Pokemon catch any mob that you kill in the game. If I see someone, okay, I don't have any mobs around me, but if I kill them enough, I collect these souls, and if I collect enough souls, I unlock them, and then I can mount them. I can equip them. And if we go to this tab right here, unlocking more of these monsters and becoming more proficient with your pets, you gain access to additional stats. This directly ties into your power. Now you might think, oh, 20 MP is nothing. 20 is 200, by the way. Actually, I take that back. All these stats are a little bit different. The last time I checked though, HP 37 HP was 370 HP. I'm not gonna re-roll this, and like 10 MP actually was 100 MP, but I'd have to double check that one. Anyways, you get stats here. If we take a look at the wings, same thing, cosmetic wings. These are also things that you're collecting, horizontal content, and these give you stats, raw stats. By the way, paid cosmetics don't give you any stats. Here's a paid cosmetic, that's out the door. And then you have your costume here, your closet, same thing. In this game, you obviously have cosmetics that you can equip, but the gear, you have visual progression. Every piece of gear has its own image, for example, and as you unlock gear, as you farm gear, even if it's worthless gear to you, it still gets added to this collection effect, and you get stats, right? Like this is a significant amount of stats as far as we can see, and this is also something that is not affected by paid cosmetics, by the way. Paid cosmetics are always this aqua color, and there are none there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the cultured outfit back on for you guys here. Yeah, so this game is a traditional theme park game, and there really isn't anything that this game delivers that's like groundbreaking outside of the graphics. Definitely the graphics are groundbreaking. I will give them that. That's probably the only thing, along with two other things that you could probably see on the screen right now. But yeah, it's a traditional theme park, but they've added that layer of, hey, horizontal content in this game is going to be a big part of your experience. Personally, this is something that I really like. Lost Ark had a lot of horizontal content. I never did that content, even though I actually liked that content, mainly because I felt like I was wasting my time doing that content, because doing that content meant I wasn't pushing vertically, and I just felt like I was wasting my time. I wanted to gear up. I wanted to be stronger. I wanted to see number go up, big number become bigger, right? In this game, doing this side content is the main content, if that makes sense, right? So you are incentivized to go out, explore the world, discover everything. If I open the map here, you see these little things. These are essentially Makoko seeds in Lost Ark. Only these things, as you collect them, you turn them into a monolith. They give you an incredible amount of power, a lot of power, right? We will talk a little bit. Actually, I'm not going to really talk about the gear, the character progression systems here, outside of, like, you know, you've got your basic gear enhancement systems, and then you've got this Paragon looking board from Diablo 4, and obviously your skills. Not gonna really go into detail in regards to those systems in this video, because this is more of just my general thoughts, but those systems all in all seem to feel, they feel pretty good. They're not overly complicated, very easy to understand. Again, the biggest downside to these systems is just interacting with the UI. Like, for example, this right here, I have to equip these effects, and I mean, it is so, I mean, I'm doing it right now, and it's just annoying, right? Like, that bad. Mobile, again, the mobile elements coming more from the UI UX rather than the gameplay, in my personal opinion. The standout content for me, however, are the rifts. The rifts are just insanely fun. If I open up my map here, you've got this whole big map. This is the Asmodean side. The Elios faction, they have their own side. The rifts essentially allow you to go to the other faction's territory, complete a few quests, and just kill people from their faction and farm abyss points. These abyss points contributing to your PvP gearing progression, as well as other things. But it's just insanely fun. You go out there with your faction, you're killing them, you're making gains, you're progressing your character, and it's just insanely fun if you're into PvP. If you're into PvE, this game also delivers a lot of PvE content. As far as I can tell, some of these dungeons are actually quite cool. They've taken a little bit of a different approach though. These fights look a little bit more cinematic than other PvE dungeons / raids. I haven't seen the raids, we've just done the dungeons. And I've actually heard people compare this to Elden Ring. Obviously, this is not Elden Ring, but as I'm streaming, I've noticed a lot of people in the chat being like, yo, this looks like an Elden Ring fight. This is kind of crazy. So I'm not entirely sold on how good the PvE content is yet, but it definitely has potential, and it's been fun so far. We have to see the raids, but so far it has been fun, and it's been fairly challenging too. Obviously not like Theamine Gate 4, the first levels of challenge in Lost Ark, right? But so far it's been pretty solid. You know, the basic attack, the bosses have basic attack patterns. One thing I have noticed though are attack patterns and telegraphs. They come out a lot faster, even at the earlier levels. There have been a lot of people that have been leveling through the campaign and struggling with a lot of these bosses, which they've already nerfed, by the way. So all in all, the game packaging, this is pretty much how it's presented. The last thing that I want to talk about in this video though is the monetization. A lot of you guys have been wondering about the monetization. I called out Gamersupps when it comes to monetization, and I'm sorry to say I told you so. For those of you who kind of doubted me, for those of you who are saying that I'm overplaying it, no, you're not hearing people echo that anymore, because the people have played the game for themselves and they're experiencing it, and they are experiencing a very expensive game. There are Koreans that have even called out Gamersupps on a couple of things with the pay to win, to which Gamersupps has already removed some of the items. But the general overall pricing, when it comes to the Koreans, a lot of the Koreans are like, I'm okay with this pricing, because they are used to paying tens of thousands of dollars in games like Lost Ark, and of course this is a lot cheaper, right? They've been jaded so much like, so like it's just it's a different perspective there, and Aion 2 has really opened up my eyes personally as to why there is such a disconnect with Korean MMOs versus Western MMOs. Korean gamers don't like pay to win, but they are way more tolerant, and I feel like that bar or that floor has just been pushed so high. MMORPGs essentially snagging tens of thousands of dollars from so many players. Not like, of course there are people that spend that in Western MMOs, but way more players have been spending that type of money in creative MMOs to the point where they are seeing these sub prices and they're like, this is way better. In no world is this better if you're a Western gamer. Western gamers right now, if you make USD, you are playing this game and these prices are at a 30% discount to you because you have a stronger currency. This right here, 49,000 Korean won to a Korean is what $49 would be to an American in USD, more or less. $50 if you played an MMORPG in the States and they charge $50 for a cosmetic. I mean, they took this shit to another level, guys. And even if you were to just say the dollar value, which would be, I believe, what, $30, $35, that's even then, it's insanely expensive. Lost Ark costumes were not 50. Okay, 50K. I'm pretty sure they were somewhere between 20 to 30, and even those were really expensive. K1, by the way, so 20 to 30 bucks local currency, which would be even cheaper in USD, right? So, I mean, cosmetics, it's okay. You know, the general consensus in the West is that it's okay to sell cosmetics. But what I'm trying to say is even the cosmetics are insanely expensive. The Koreans may think this, but my friend, another content creator, her name is Jenny. She's Canadian, Taiwanese. She's had plenty of Taiwanese people come to her stream, and every single one of those viewers have said this game is way too expensive. Everyone that is playing this game, I shouldn't say everyone, but the vast majority of people that are playing this game are also saying this shit is expensive. It is, right? If we were to take a look at the subs, it's no different, guys. It's no different. 45,001, 45 bucks, which obviously, again, cheaper in USD, but PPP, right? 2 memberships here. I'm not going to go into detail here because I've already made videos on this. Nothing's different. This, along with the Power Pass, or the Battle Pass, rather, the 2 Battle Passes they have, it's just really expensive. The justification for this would be, okay, well, if it's not pay to win, then, because that's how NCSoft has kind of played this. You know, they've tried to tell the people, hey, we're going to be going hard into these subs. Please buy the subs because, you know, this is pretty much all we can make our money in. So the question is, how bad is the pay to win outside of that? I would put the pay to win outside of the optional subs. I would put it on a similar level to like a Black Desert and Throne and Liberty. And I know, before you get the pitchforks out, just know that I'm saying comparable, not exactly. So if we take a step out, you know, looking at it, I'm just kind of categorizing games like Black Desert, Throne and Liberty. Like these are different types of pay to win compared to obviously New World. You know, obviously a Guild Wars 2, right? This is different. So I would kind of categorize Aion 2 roughly in that range. You can purchase Kina, and surprise, surprise, this Kina will and can increase your rate of progression. It's really that simple. I'm happy to go over this a little bit more in detail in my more, you know, detailed review video, but that's what it is. You know, obviously there are some things where you can't swipe, like for example, the Abyss gear. The Abyss gear here, this is the PvP gear. You cannot purchase this gear with Kina. It has to be with Abyss points. So people are going to be like, well, the best in slot PvP gear isn't pay to win. Yeah, just unlocking it may not be pay to win, but I assure you, upgrading it, you can absolutely speed up that progress, right? For sure. Like here's another example. If I want to upgrade this item right here, it's going to cost me Kina, and this escalates. You can purchase Kina, and it also costs these enhanced stones, which you can't swipe for, but you can dismantle gear to get you the enhanced stones, and you can purchase gear on the auction house, so you can effectively swipe for it. And just like precious polished crystals in Throne in Liberty, of course there are some things that you can't swipe for, but there are plenty of things, and the majority of things I would say that you can swipe for. So this is something that obviously was expected. If this surprises you, you haven't been listening. It's a big reason why I went kind of crazy over the original announcement. Was like, you're acting like all you can do is make money off of these optional subs, yet you're selling Kina gold. Right? It's like, so this has to be toned down for the global audience. All the prices need to come down. I'm not going to go super into detail with exactly how much value the battle passes give and all that stuff, because I do need to understand the game better. My big question right now when it comes specifically to the pay to win with Kina and being able to accelerate your progression is, what are the gaps going to be, right? Because again, Korean MMO, I'm expecting pay to win, but I want to know what the gaps are going to be. Are the gaps going to be like Throne and Liberty Tier 1, where you can absolutely pay to win swipe and you felt that pressure, yet at the end of Tier 1 for like an entire month, maybe even month and a half, everyone was maxed gear? Me, a whale that spent thousands, I am literally at the same grade level as a free-to-play player for like that last month or two, until, you know, that last month or two before Tier 2 gear came out. Is it going to be like that where the free-to-play can catch? Or is it going to just be a hamster wheel thing where you're never going to catch them? You know, is it going to feel like Black Desert Online? The reason why I kind of compare, I also added, I mentioned, I should say, Black Desert Online is Black Desert Online objectively pay to win in the sense that you can purchase silver. Buy silver, you can buy gear, right? Base level gear, and then you have to upgrade it. However, a lot of people that play BDO don't feel pressured or feel less pressured into purchasing these items to buy silver, because you can just go grind it infinitely, right? And free-to-play players can make a lot of silver, plenty of silver. That's part of the main content, making silver, grinding, all that stuff. And they're not pressured into purchasing that silver. I would argue that most Black Desert Online players are pressured into buying the permanent stuff like fairy upgrades, or maid upgrades, pet upgrades, weight, maybe even less weight in inventory now, but back in the day that was a really big one. These types of things, right? Pay to win tent, obviously that's a huge one. Things that are permanent, right? And those obviously add up. But when it comes to the silver specifically, which is no different from Kina in this game, there's less pressure in BDO to purchase that silver. In Aion 2, Kina can also be farmed unlimited. Like if I go and kill a mob, I am going to get Kina, and I can continue to do that. Abyss points for the PvP gear specifically, that's limited, but Kina, that is not limited. Life skilling, that is not limited. I can go here and I can gather this. There's no stamina, there's no energy system. Again, not a mobile game, right? There is none of that. So I can just continue to do this. Best in slot gear, PvE gear, in case you're wondering, is crafted. It can be crafted into this. And if you're wondering, well, this is probably going to end up being better than PvP gear, it's not. If you rewind and look at the PvP piece of gear that I pulled up, actually it might have been hiding behind my camera, but there's no stats here below with PvE. And PvP gear, you have up to 20%, well, 2.5% here, but the PvP gear gives you 5% here, and it gives you three or four additional 5% PvP damage tolerance modifiers down here. So there's in no world will PvE gear match up to PvP. PvP, you definitely have to get the Abyss gear. This is the PvE gear. Now, when it comes to the PvE gear, a lot of this stuff, crafting this, you need to farm the mats, right? And you can do so in this game. You can life skill unlimited as far as I can see right now. I can kill mobs. If I see a mob down here somewhere, I can kill him and I can make Kina. So there is really no limiting factor with how much Kina you can make. There it is. I made 83 Kina. I mean, this is a little tog. Obviously like other monsters will give you more Kina, but like 76 is nothing. But yeah, just to make a point, you can farm Kina unlimited. So in that regard, it's kind of like BDO. So I don't know how much pressure a player is going to have at the end game when it comes to Kina, because Kina is the main currency, right? If you look at the marketplace, Everything's Kina. You can turn Kina into Kuna, Kuna being the cash shop currency. You can literally farm Kina in the game, turn it into Kuna, the premium currency, and purchase everything that is available for Kuna. Can't purchase select items though, and you can purchase the battle pass, but you can't purchase the optional sub. Kind of dumb, but it is what it is. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the combat. Now, combat is something that a lot of people have differing opinions on. I am of the opinion where the combat is really, really good. I really like it, mainly because of the targeting system. I stand by what I said when it comes to the targeting system. This is one of, if not the best targeting system for me personally. And I'm going to explain to you how it works, because the targeting system that I'm referring to has to be set manually. So number one, if you go into your settings, you have an action combat mode, Aion 1, Aion 2, and you have the classic mode, Aion 1. Classic mode is tab targeting. I have not heard good things about this. I've heard it's pretty scuffed. Okay, the targeting, clicking on nameplates / models, I've heard it's not great. Okay, I don't know, because I will never think twice about switching from the combat mode that I use, which is the action combat mode, Aion 2. And what I've done is I've turned off the auto target upon skill use and set main target upon attack. I'm going to briefly go over this to give you guys an idea as to how this works, because I am glazing the combat, especially the targeting here, and some of you guys are just not seeing it, and I understand that. Okay, I understand that. So in this game, you have targeting, right? This is a soft target, and there is no official name for this. I'm just personally calling it soft targeting versus hard targeting. Hard targeting is when you have this target or this HP bar come up. Okay, when I use a skill like this is my leash, my chain hook skill. When I use this, it is going to chain pull hook him to me, right? If I don't have a hard target, I need to soft target. I need to see that little white, that white crosshair come up in order for this skill to come off. So I'm here and I've got one target in front of me, no other targets around. If I don't have a hard target on this target and I use my one ability, okay, it is not going to hit him. I need to aim at him in order for this to hit. Okay, this gives me a lot of control, because I can aim my my crosshair and have full control over who I want to hit, right? So this is the action combat mode. If I want to use my stun, my 3 ability, I need to be aiming at the target in order to hit that. Makes sense, right? Now, when I come over here, if I'm hitting him, but then I want to leash him, I simply have to aim at him, leash him, and rinse and repeat. This seems pretty straightforward, right? Aim at the target you want to hit. This is how soft targeting works. So how does hard targeting work? Hard targeting works where I don't have to aim at the target. This is like, I guess, almost a tab targeting like movement, where I can have target on him, move in a different direction, and still pull him and still execute an ability that's going to land on him like that, right? It's always going to prioritize him. Now, what's great about this is that I can always hard target when I don't have a target. I want to quickly correct my wording here. I don't know why I said this, but disregard the when I don't have target part. This will make a little bit more sense when you hear the full explanation. But essentially, let's say I have a hard target already. All I would have to do is aim at a new target, which would be soft targeting, hit tab, and then I would take that target. Again, you do not have to drop target in order to do this. I can always hard target the monster that my character is on. So I'm over here, this guy's on me. I have no target. Okay, I want to hard target this guy. I'm going to hit tab to hard target this guy. If I hit tab, I get that target. If I'm here, right, and I don't have a target, I want to target this guy. I want to hard target this guy. All I have to do is aim my crosshair at him, hit tab, and I now have hard targeted this person. Disregard the when I don't have target part. Let's say I have a hard target already. All I would have to do is aim at a new target, which would be soft targeting, hit tab, and then I would take that target. Again, you do not have to drop target in order to do this. This gives me an insane amount of control. If I don't want a hard target, I just want to cleave, I want to get in there, you can tell that there is a buffer space on a solo target. Like my crosshair is here, right? Here, and I can take target. There's a buffering space. It's forgiving. However, when the targets are close together, that buffering space goes away. I'm on him, but let's say I'm attacking this guy, but I want to swap targets to him. Or let's say I'm attacking him, right? But I want to hit him. Not him, not him, him. I want to chain pull to hook this guy. I can simply aim at him and use my ability. Or let's say I want to hit that that archer in the back. I can aim at him and take hard target here and continue to hit these guys here. Maybe that's a healer in the back. Shot caller calls me to pull now. I dash. Chain hook. I'm out of range. Boom. He didn't get pulled, but that's an AoE pull. If you're wondering why both of those guys, that guy didn't get pulled. I think it resisted. I'm not sure, but as you can see, the chain hook hit both of those targets. So I don't have a target here. I want to immediately lock on this guy, so I'm going to hit tab. I'm hard targeting this guy. I want to swap targets here. Tab, bam, he's my new target. I want to make sure I land that because maybe there's a line in front of him. I'm going to heal. Okay, I want to grab that guy. I want to clarify this breakdown once again. As you can see from this frame, the Dratona Tinker that is behind my character in the pack of mobs is hard targeted. The Dratona Tinker that I'm soft targeted on, that's ahead or above my character, that target is not hard targeted. So when I use my chain hook, the chain hook went to the Dratona Tinker that was behind my target. If I had no hard target, I would have grabbed the Tinker that's above my character that is soft targeted. If I wanted to hard target the Dratona Tinker that's above my character that is currently soft targeted, all I would have to do is hit tab at this moment and the hard target would move to that Dratona Tinker that's above my character. I hope that made sense. Boom. You see how I pulled this guy? Why did I pull them and not him? Because I had a hard target. I did not let go of my target. I hit escape. I want to pull that guy, or maybe I just want to take him as my hard target. I hit tab. I now have him. So the amount of control you have, right, is just really good. I'm hitting this guy. I want to get this Tinker that's right next to me instead. Boom. Tab on him. Lock on him, or just aim on him. This is just, it just feels really good when I'm doing this mode. And generally with action combat, one of the problems is field of vision, right? I've got to keep him in front of me, but this mode allows me to take target, attack this target, and still see what's behind me. I can still actually see everything behind me and everything around me by just simply locking on the target. And I can do this all in action combat mode. Personally, I just don't see why anyone would not play in this mode. And because this mode exists, because the targeting behaves this way, I just really like it. One key thing I forgot to mention was target scanning. I do have this as priority ranking, so that allows me to tab onto the take hard target on the target that I tab on, and if I cycle from there, it'll have a priority list. So overall, the combat to me just feels really, really good, and is probably, outside of the graphics, it is probably the best part about the game for me. On another note, overall, the feel of the combat, the more I experience it, the more it just feels like Terra. The devs have actually said they are going to reduce some of the animation locking. I will say that some of the animation locking does feel a little bit long, and it can definitely give some players the impression of, it can definitely give a little bit more of a staticky experience. I personally don't think it's staticky, but I can definitely see some people feeling like it is a little bit, right? Like, for example, my 2 ability, this is all animation locked. Let's see, my 8 ability, this is animation locked. I could dash out of it, but I can't move during that animation. I don't think it's bad at all. Like, if they kept it this way, I think it's fine, but I do think it's better, and it's a good thing that they're actually going to reduce some of the animation lock. The animation lock, landing skills, hearing the sounds of these skills go off, to me, it really reminds me of Terra. Terra, there were animation locks as well, and it just, yeah, just for me, it feels a lot more like Terra than anything else. But yeah, that's gonna pretty much do it for this one, guys. I try to keep this relatively short. I know I yapped on a lot. I have no idea how long this video is gonna be. Hopefully it's not too long, But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments section below. I'm excited to get into the end game and learn what the end game progression is like, because the progression currently, it's really nice, but what happens when you finish all of this quote unquote horizontal content? What's the day-to-day like? What are the end game raids like? What's the balance going to be like? How's the replayability after 6 months, after a year? I don't know, but so far the journey has been very good for me. Gameplay wise, monetization, not so much. Hopefully they can fix it for us in the West. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.